and now, he's been out for quite a while with this most recent back issue. So it sucks because, in my opinion, it's like him and Fedor. Those are the two greatest heavyweights of all time.
Interestingly, similar body style. Yeah. 230, 240.
Fuck guys up.
They post those videos though of him training in Russia, running with his buddies and swinging kettlebells, and you're like, yeah, this guy works hard.
Oh yeah, hard, no doubt. He just probably ate shitty food.
Yeah, just
ate tons of it. But it's also like their methodology is just different. I mean, he was like very, very old school with his methods. Like he was doing kettlebells, but way before CrossFit or anything came to America. I mean, there's an old school picture. See if you can find it, Jamie. Back when he was jacked. Like he got smaller as his career went on because he stopped doing strength and conditioning as his body got older and focused more on skill work. But there's this not ancient, there's a picture of him standing there shirtless around a bunch of kettlebells.
Yeah. I
this is
that
like
picture.
2001 or something like that,
Yeah. And the thing that I think that he really had was he had a good... His skill, in my mind, was that he was a really good grappler, he's a really good striker, but the way he missed him, you would see him just, like, hit somebody in the face and then judo throw him and then arm lock him or choke him, and it was all just so smooth. I don't think anyone knew what to defend, because if they defended one thing, if they defended a grappling move, they were getting punched in the face. If they defended a punch, they were getting taken down.
Yeah, he was something special, man. And, he was something special for quite a long time, too. I don't think anybody can keep going longer than, there's like a time that you can compete at the highest level. Some folks think it's about 8-9 years. They're like, and after 8-9 years, the highest level, like, nobody's body holds up. Yeah. It just all falls apart.
And, as much as I'm talking good about Fedor and his style and everything, let's face it, what was the best about Fedor was attitude. He would just come in there with no emotions, raise his hand, dead face. They'd introduce him, he'd just raise his hand, he'd destroy someone, and he would have the same expression on his face like before he fought. He just had total absence of emotion. That was, to me, that's what I always thought, yes.
Yeah.
That's why Fedor is right up there at the top of my list.
Yeah, there's the picture.
Oh. Yeah, exactly.
Just jacked, standing around a bunch of fucking iron cannonballs with handles on them.
And those aren't some little kettlebells either.
Yeah, I bet that picture alone must have sold millions of dollars of kettlebells. People saw that picture and they're like, I gotta get some, man. But he also was very smart. That's his brother, actually.
Yeah.
He was very smart with his training, where he spent some time in Holland.
Yeah,
that's
great.
Him and his brother, like way back in the day.
Get a picture of his brother now. Get a picture of Alexander now.
He just got out of jail.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's gonna fight again. His brother was a bad motherfucker too, man.
He was.
He's an animal.
He's got the.
There's something about Russians, man.
For sure.
They're a different kind of white people. They're totally different. They're so much different.
Well, it's the hard upbringing.
Oh, yeah, man. Diamonds made out of pressure.
And the other guy that comes to mind when we're thinking about old school fighters that really, it wasn't just his skill set, which was unbelievable, but Sakuraba. Because the way Sakuraba, his craziness.
Oh, yeah.
And just to go in there and just have that incredibly playful attitude.
Also, chain smoked and drank through his entire camp. Chain smoked and drank.
Yeah. I went out with him in Japan after one of his fights one time.
Really? Yeah. What'd he do?
He was just getting after it.
But that attitude of not giving a fuck is like, that's what worked so well for him inside the ring.
Yeah, well, I know we see this all the time with fighters. We see it with anybody that is going to live out on the fringe like that. They're going to have some sort of offset. There's for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So you get a guy that's living that far on the edge, like Sakuraba was. That edge just doesn't stop when he gets out of the cage, right? He's going and going to get after it more.
He had some horrible losses, though.
He got used and exploited worse than anyone else, right? I mean, worse than any other fighter. No one has been exploited and put into those horrible fights where he just wasn't out. I mean, he was just outmatched. He was old. He wasn't trained right, and they would just put him in there and just let him get destroyed.
Well, his knees were mangled, so he would wrap his knees up like a mummy.
Yeah.
They were horrible, and you knew that was a real injury. Like he couldn't move so good. His knees were all wrapped up and fucked up, and then they put him in there with Vanderlei. And Vanderlei knocked him out, what, 3 times? Brutal KOs? I think at least twice. I'm trying to think if it's 2 or 3 times. But, and then Melvin Manhoef. And he was soccer kicking him, because you could soccer kick in Pride and stomp. Yeah, he had some really tough fights. He's apparently doing a grappling super fight now. I think he's grappling.
He grappled Benzo.
Yeah,
in Metamoris.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was thinking of, you know what? I was actually thinking of Shinya Aoki is going to grapple with Gary Tonin.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, they're going to have a straight up grappling. Yeah, Gary's going to fuck him up most likely. But Aoki's good, man.
Yeah,
especially now.
for sure.
But it's a big difference between guys who are good in MMA and guys who are good at like straight up grappling.
Yeah. And the training vids of Gary. He's just training. All he does. He's completely obsessed with jiu-jitsu. I love it.
Yeah.
And he's doing rope class. That's all he does.
So he's also being coached by John Danaher, and he's part of that Renzo Gracie crew in New York City.
Yeah.
And that Danaher Death Squad, man, you want to talk about a real, like, wizard of jiu-jitsu. Danaher understands. His Instagram posts are some of the very best Instagram posts on the internet.
I got to follow him then.
Oh, you got to, man. His breakdowns of certain techniques and matches and what went well and what went wrong and what's required of athletes and how to excel and the difference between an athlete in competition versus a difference in training